Hi, you're welcome once more to my channel. So today I'm going to be showing you how to dye Petersham, cover your emirate cap with material, glue emirate cap to double layered veil, and make a triple layer bow with crinoline and Petersham in the process of making this beautiful emirate satellite fascinator you are seeing there. But before I proceed, it's Nkechi from the vent, empowering you to create wealth with tutorials on how to make unique fascinators, as well as showing you tips and tricks of the craft. Here are the materials we're going to be making use of. This is our small emirate cup, and we have our uhu gum. Then we have our elastic band, our pegs, straight scissors, needle and thread matching to the material we're using, the color of the material we're using. Then that's our bias, then hat wire, that's measurement tape, that's our veil or net depending on what you call it where you are. That's the Petersham, is white, you can see it. We're going to be dyeing it very soon. That's paper mat. We'll have a gist about this in our next video. I didn't make use of it here. Then these are our flower trimmings. They look so lovely and shining. And this is the material we're going to be making use of to cover our emirate cap, and this is called a metallic. So remember our last DIY video on how to make this fascinator? Yes, and there was a challenge. A game was thrown to win Brooch Class 3 online training for free. And guess who won it? Rebecca Udensi. Yes, the change of cloth was the answer. And you just contact us personally, or rather me, sorry, and you get to have your gift sent to you. Okay, back to our training for today. So the first thing I'm going to do, I've cut the elastic band. The next thing is to cut out 2 inches extra so it's held firmly on the head and not too tight. So I'm going to be sewing it to my emirate cap. Now the reason why I'm sewing it first of all before I put my cloth is just in case the thread shows on the other part, it's going to be covered up by the material I'm going to use to cover the emirate cap. So keep watching and learning. Don't forget to stay to the very end of this video, because you know what always comes: a challenge to win a gift from the Vent Craft. Yes. Alright, so keep watching and learning. Okay, so after that's done, you want to measure your emirate cap on the 2 sides, the big side and the small size. And I think the highest was 8 inches, so I decided to cut a 10 by 10 inches. Now this metallic has 2 faces, but I'm going to be making use of not the silver part. This is actually silver, but it looks light blue here. I'm going to be making use of the sky blue part. That's the other side. So you put your measurements, you do your measurement with your chalk on the upside down part, not the side you're going to be making use of. So that's 10 by 10 inches that I've cut out. Now, in case you want to learn any other thing aside Fascinator, you want to join me in the Vent Craft Academy. We have 2 ongoing classes right now. We have one on turbans and another one on mid class I call it mixed because it has different things. Like this one, we have the hand fan, we have the veil, and we have the manipulation of hat. Now if you want to get to learn how to join, if you want to know more about joining these classes, all you need to do is go to the description of this video and you will see a link to join in the reception, and then you get to know more about this. Okay, back to our training. So that's our 10 by 10, yeah, matches well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my uhu gum. You see that dent in the middle that gives the emirate cap its unique shape. You don't want to lose it. So the first thing you do is put your uhu gum round that place, and you wait a little bit. That's what I was doing. Take your material and put on top. Then what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using the tip of my nails. If you have sharp nails, please don't use it so you don't tear the material if the material is soft. But you just use it and start pushing in. After a while, I would make use of pegs. Just keep watching and learning how we get to cover our emirate cap and still retain our shape of the emirate cap with our material. Keep watching and learning. Okay, so our next step in making this Emirate satellite fascinator is to cut out the excess. Yes, it's good to have more than less that you can't cover up. So the 10 by 10 actually was a bit much when I checked it. So I cut out, I cut out like 2 inches on one side and 3 inches on the other side. So I'm cutting out the excess and I'm checking it. So I think it's best to do extra just in case, because you know the shape is not regular, so you don't want to have any issues at all. So you just keep checking. What you need to do is just have a little extra of material that will just cover the top part and go in a little bit to where you have your elastic band attached. So that's what I'm doing now. So just keep watching and learning. So after that's done, I'm going to take my uhu gum and put inside, just at the edge there, inside, not on the tip, not on the other side, on the front side, but inside. So I'm going to put uhu gum all the way around. And once I'm done with that, what is our shouting word, our common word, what we always do when we are covering with material? Yes, are you shouting with me? 1, 2, go. North, south, east, and west. Okay, I'm shouting longer before I'm doing it, but if we drag it, it will. Okay, anyway, you get what I'm saying. So not south, east, and west, and then we start grabbing it on each side so that we get a smooth running of our material. So just keep watching and learning. If you were gaining value from this video on the Emirate Satellite Fascinator, please do give me a thumbs up. Just press that thumbs up button below this video and let me know you were gaining value and encourage me to do much more. Alright, keep watching and learning. Next step in making our Emirate satellite fascinator is to cut off the excess material that we have after we have glued it. After it has stayed, make sure you wait for a while before you do this, so you don't take it off what you were meant to glue it to. So after a while, you take your razor. I think razor is best in this instance because of the shape of the Emirate. You can't really make use of scissors, but if you have a small scissors, I think that also would do. So keep watching and learning. So as you can see, if you cannot find the color of the Emirate cap you're looking for, cover it up with a material, and that solves the issue. So it actually solved mine because I couldn't find sky blue Emirate cap anywhere. So I decided to use a material and it turned out looking pretty. So let's keep watching the making of our Emirate satellite fascinator. Okay, so we have ticked off one of the how-to that I said we would learn. So we have 3 more coming. Keep watching. So after that, of course, you use your bias and gum it all the way around. Now we're off to dyeing our Petersham. Now I have cold water over there in the small bowl and warm hot water, a bit hot, not boiling hot, in the big bowl that I'm pouring salt into. So I put in some salt and I mix it up with my stick. That's actually a cane, but it's no longer a cane. It's now a stick for mixing my dye. Okay, so once I'm done mixing the salt in, I take the color I want to get, that's the sky blue. So I take my foreign dye, that's the DeLoyne multi-purpose dye. Sorry I didn't show you the complete whatever pack well. So I'm pouring it in and mixing it like so. Now you have to be careful so that you get exactly the shade you want. The more I add that, it might give me a deeper sky blue. So I decided to just test with the feathers to know whether I can stop or continue. So that's me testing. So you want to get a small material to test like what I did. So I can see it's not catching so well, so I decided to add a little more dye into the mixture to ensure that it catches well. So now I can see it's catching well, though deep. So because it's deep, I'm going to make sure that I don't leave my material in for long. So that's what I'm doing now. I've taken my Petersham and I'm putting it in. Now you want to loosen up your material and not squeeze like I'm doing. So after a while I spread them out and pushed it in. Now most times you would leave the material you're dyeing inside, but because the shade I want is really light, I'm careful not to leave it so that it doesn't become deep sky blue, you understand? So then I use my cold water and I rinse it out. Then after I'm done with that, I would leave it out to dry in the sun. So if you have not subscribed to this great channel of mine, Event Craft, please do so now, because as you can see in today's own, you have already learned 2 different things, isn't it? You know how to cover an Emirate cap, you know how to dye Petersham, and I keep giving you much more by God's grace, and I will keep doing it. So just subscribe, click the subscribe button below, thank you, and the bell for notification. Yes, to be notified of any new video, you need to click that bell button so that you don't miss out on any video. And you know, most times I have games at the end, and if you don't get it on time, you lose out on that game and you can't get the gift from the game. So do click that button. Alright, so back to our Emirate satellite fascinator. So that's crinoline is like 1.2 inches, the thick crinoline, not the light one. This is the thick one that they use, tailors also use in sewing clothes because it's thick and it kind of takes a thicker shape. And that's the dyed Petersham. You can see how it turned out looking exactly light blue. It's already dried. So what I'm going to do is I'll put my uhu gum at the 2 edges, not too close to the edge so that it doesn't spill out, but at the 2 edges. After I did this, I thought, when I started, I was like, another good option would be actually to use a sewing machine. But if you don't have a sewing machine, you make use of the uhu gum, but you have to be careful and ensure it doesn't stain. Now I'm cutting out the pieces I need. I'm going to be cutting out 10 inches. Then I'm going to be cutting out 12 inches and 14. So actually what the total of this was a yard, that's 36 inches. So 10, 12 and 14. So after I'm done with cutting it, I'm going to now fold each of them like so with your matching needle and thread. Always make sure you use matching needle and thread. It hides any defaults and all that stuff. Okay, so that's the way you sew each of them. Just watch. I would do one for you. Keep watching and learning. Okay, I'm sure you're getting the drift of why it's a triple layer bow. Okay, so now I'm sewing each of the layers to form the bow. So each of them like that, and I join them up. What I'm doing now is to check which one is longer, because the longest will be underneath. So you have your 10 on top, then the 12 underneath, then the 14 the last. So I keep sewing them together like so to make the triple layer bow that we're going to use to make our Emirate satellite fascinator. So keep watching and learning. Okay, that's the third thing we are taking off now in making our Emirate satellite fascinator that I wrote you would learn in this video. So remaining our fourth one. Stay tuned, keep watching, don't stop, don't move away, stay in, stay. Okay, after you're done with that, you want to cover up that sewed part with the your, what do you call it, with your bias, blue bias. You can use a cord, flower trimming or anything at this point, but I used the blue bias that I showed you in the beginning of this DIY of our Emirate satellite fascinator. Okay, so that's how I glued it and covered up all the sewing that was done. Okay, so the next we're going into in making of our Emirate satellite fascinator is covering our veil. Now it's double layer. Yeah, double layer. I'm going to be making it double layer and not single. It's going to be double. So that's already covered hat wire with I've cut the hat wire already, and it's 40 inches, and I've covered it with bias. Now if you want to know how to cover with bias, I would leave the link below in the description of this video. You'll see it there, how to cover your hat wire with bias the way I did here. So now I'm gathering the veil. You keep gathering it till you get the how you want it to be. Now you're not going to squeeze it because you don't want the rod to be bent. You want it straight. So you're just going to gather and leave it straight and then start sewing. So keep watching and learning. Okay, so we are done with that. Now the next thing you want to do is attach your Emirate cap that has already been covered with material to the covered the hot wire fascinator. Alright, so now I'm going to be making use of glue. You know, if you've watched my other videos, what I use is needle and thread, but in this instant I decided to make use of glue so that I have it straight and not bending or curving. And it's kind of tricky. You have to really be careful with the glue and all that, and it's a bit messy, so you really have to be careful when putting the glue. So I keep checking to ensure that I'm going to get it in the middle and putting my eye and noting where I need to put the net so that I will get it exactly where I want to be. So that also needs to be checked. So I'm going to be putting my uhu gum in the middle. Now that was me thinking, oh, would it work? It's actually my first time of doing it with a double veil, I think it is. So I was really doing a lot of thought process while I was making it. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be gluing, putting the uhu gum at the edges there, and once I'm done, I would place the hot wire that I've covered with veil on top, and you wait a bit and then you start patting it down. You have to do it continuously to ensure that all the parts of the veil are glued completely to the Emirate cap. Now I would also want to advise that when you use glue to glue a double layer veil to the base of a fascinator, ensure you use the electric glue gun to stick your bias round. I didn't show that in this process because we already have how we did in the previous Emirate satellite fascinator, which you would soon see. I will leave the link also below for that, so you see how to conclude this process, how to put all of them together. But make use of the electric glue gun, that's your candle gum in your electric glue gun, to use your bias or your trimmings or your Peter Sham to glue. Now this is the video of how you can join it all up. You can see how we made use of different things in the video. There are different things we used previously and different things we use now, so I'm happy to be able to tell you what to do and different ways you can get this done. You know, it's all about creativity. You look for what you can find and you get your clients happy with what you have done. Okay, so that's it, and wait for it. Yes, of course, for staying to the very end of my video, yeah, I'm gonna give you something. So what's our challenge for today? Now I need you to tell me all the differences between the previous video that we did, the red one, and the blue one. What are the different materials? What are the different processes that were done? Now the person to be able to list out all the various ones, all the various differences, will get to have a turban class for free. Thanks once more for staying to the very end. See you in my next video.